Hello everyone, this is part 8 of What If Naruto Leaves Konoha and Joins Akatsuki, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Don't look so amazed, said Naruto. I was trained to detect Anbu and hunt Nin. It was essential for my survival. Tsunade could understand that he would detect Sasuke, Sakura and Hinata, but for him to detect Jiraiya, that was really surprising. Well, come on out, yelled Naruto, looking at 4 distinct places in the forest behind Tsunade. Tsunade gave a silent signal and the 4 named Nins walked out and stood behind her. Naruto's eyes glistened. So we meet once more, he said cheerfully. Sasuke scowled, Sakura and Hinata tensed, and Tsunade and Jiraiya remained completely calm. Silence passed in the group. Naruto's eyes slowly shifted from one leaf nin to another, examining them closely. Tsunade looked practically the same perhaps, though somewhat older. Age catches everyone. Jiraiya was definitely older and seemed to be fighting hard not to slouch. He has definitely weakened. Sasuke was wearing Anbu combat gear, through which one could easily see that he was more muscularly developed. Naruto also noted that his chakra was larger. So he's grown since our last meeting. Sakura and Hinata were both wearing Junin vests that were noticeably stocked with weapons and scrolls. They both held an aura of self-confidence and much greater chakra reserve than last he saw them. They seemed to be ready for battle, not a bad precaution. What's up with the mask? Asked Sasuke, breaking the silence. You think you're fooling anyone, Dobe? Naruto simply ignored the nickname and chuckled. I thought you'd recognize me better by the image you saw 3 years ago versus 8 years ago, he simply stated, among other reasons. We all know it's you, yelled Sakura with slight hatred. Fine. Naruto slowly took off his mask to reveal much thicker whisker marks, but most shocking of all, 2 fangs protruding between his lips. You like what you see? Asked Naruto sarcastically. All 5 leaf nin gaped at him. Naruto, why? Asked Tsunade in a caring tone. Why what? Asked Naruto. Why did I run away? Why did I join the Akatsuki? Tsunade and Sakura gasped. Why did I come back 3 years ago and raise hell? Tsunade nodded dumbly, still shocked at the Akatsuki comment. Well, let's start off. I'm pretty damn sure you know exactly why I ran away, said Naruto sternly. Tsunade and Jiraiya both got a saddened look on their faces. Seems what Itachi said was true, thought Jiraiya. Then why join with the Akatsuki? Said Sasuke in obvious anger. Naruto shifted his eyes to meet the Uchihas. You mean, why did I ally with your brother? Sasuke's anger flared up and his Sharingan activated. Naruto laughed. I'll take that as a yes. You damned traitor, yelled Sasuke. Much like you, countered Naruto, and Sasuke scowled. I changed. I'll never be like Itachi, said Sasuke forcefully. Damn right you'll never be like Itachi ni-chan. Naruto shrugged. Anyway, I joined them because they were strong, they could train me, explained Naruto. Jiraiya was about to interrupt but was see off, and also because he recommended it. Naruto gently tapped his stomach and smirked at the shock on Tsunade and Jiraiya's faces. The rest just looked around confused. Naruto, are you still in the Akatsuki? Asked Sakura in a much more timid voice than before. Naruto sighed. The Akatsuki was destroyed 6 months after the Hyuga assassination, said Naruto, slightly annoyed. I know that, she yelled, but are you still with them? Alright, you're asking whether or not I still travel with the former Akatsuki members. Sakura nodded. I will not answer that, Naruto concluded simply. What? Yelled Sakura. I will not tell you where they are. That's not what I'm asking, she started saying, but was see off by Jiraiya. He knows that if he answers, he'll be giving out information about them, which may possibly lead Hunter Nin to them, explained Jiraiya, and Naruto nodded. But what are your relations to these former members? Naruto smirked. They are good friends of mine. They should watch out, said Sasuke, with how you treat your friends. Ah, you're talking about the Junin exam, said Naruto. Well, whoever said Kiba and Ino were my friends? He asked in a cold tone, visibly shocking Sakura and Hinata. Naruto, this isn't like you, said Tsunade. What did the Akatsuki do to you? Not like me, huh? He thought a moment. You mean, it's not unlike my happiness mask, to hate most everyone in Konoha. He said with absolutely cold eyes, which startled the younger nins. I thought so, mumbled Tsunade. I'm sorry I wasn't able to help you, Naruto. That one time when he was able to do the Rasengan, he felt like another person, thought Jiraiya. My instincts were right. While training in the Akatsuki, I was able to drop my mask and I guess you could say, I became cold-hearted, said Naruto with absolute calmness. Naruto, did you ever K anyone from Konoha? Asked Tsunade. Naruto laughed. I didn't discriminate, I K everyone, answered Naruto. Any Anbu of Hunter Nin that crossed my path, from any country. Survival was the only thing that mattered in those times. You're AM. Accused Sasuke. I'm survivor. Countered Naruto. Can you take on a team of Anbu or Hunter Nin by yourself? Huh? Questioned Naruto forcefully. You, with your fancy Anbu gear, can you take on your whole squad and win? Especially if you're fighting to the death. Naruto started raising voice. You're still that 7-year-old kid trying to impress his parents. Said Naruto in a loud, but cold voice. Sasuke's eyes instantly went into his fully developed Sharingan. What's with the eyes? You think just because you have Mangekyo I'm gonna be scared of you? All the Leaf Nin looked over at Sasuke in surprise. Sasuke was shocked. How did you know? He asked. Naruto scoffed. I spent 5 years with the best user of the Mangekyo, you think I can't tell? Best user. I'll show you, yelled Sasuke as he started activating his Mangekyo. Yes, show me, Sasuke-kun, said Naruto while calmly activating his demon's eyes preparing to use Hell. Sasuke had activated Mangekyo and was trying to use Tsukuyomi, but found that Naruto wasn't even budging. Sasuke got angry and pumped more chakra into his eyes attempting to increase the effects, but Naruto was still calmly looking at him with those red eyes. Just when he thought he was getting somewhere, his world suddenly started getting blurry and become slightly reddish. He soon lost his balance and fell to one knee, deactivating the Sharingan. Everyone looked on in amazement as Naruto chuckled after somehow surviving a Mangekyo attack. Naruto, how did you? I can't even do that, wondered Jiraiya. He has grown quite a bit, concluded Tsunade, the scariest part being that he's most likely not even showing a quarter. Naruto, you hurt Sasuke-kun again, but you're definitely not the same person I remember. Naruto, strong as ever, but why did you use power like that? Hinata thought, caught between admiration and hatred. Not bad, Sasuke, said Naruto. A level 2 Mangekyo from a non-existent, in 3 years. Level 2. What the hell are you talking about? Asked Sasuke still recovering. There are several levels for the Mangekyo, explained Naruto, you have the 2nd, your brother had the 5th. Sasuke got a thoughtful look for a second, but how were you able to resist it? He proceeded to ask. Naruto chuckled and met Sasuke's non-Sharingan eyes with his demon's eyes and used only a second's worth of Hell level 1 on Sasuke, causing him to become dizzy again and fall onto his side. My own jutsu can resist Mangekyo up to level 4, he said calmly. Demons are helpful beings you know. He said with a smile that made a shiver run up Tsunade and Jiraiya's spine. Sakura was instantly by Sasuke's side trying to find out what was wrong. Sasuke-kun, are you alright? What happened? You're not hurt, are you? She asked in a quick series of questions, which almost blended into one. Naruto deactivated his demon eyes and shook his head in disapproval. Still the same old Sakura I see, he said. Sasuke-kun this, Sasuke-kun that. You know how much that drove me up the wall. He growled. Sakura looked up at his with angry eyes. At least I care for my friends. She half yelled. Humph, so I suppose I wasn't your friend, is that right? Sakura immediately adopted a sad, regretful look when she remembered how she treated him. Who am I to talk about caring for friends, she thought sadly. She then remembered something, but he shouldn't be talking like that either, she thought angrily. What about Hinata? She was your friend and look what you did to her. She yelled at Naruto. Naruto looked over at Hinata with slight regret in his eyes. I used her and ruined her life for a selfish reason, he mused, but then remembered something. Humph, her family was a bunch of assholes anyway. They were still my family, yelled Hinata. I would never have wished death upon them. Then, I am sorry, he bowed, but it was my mission. Orders. I'm sure you understand how that works. Orders. You did it all just to complete a mission? Asked Hinata frantically. He nodded. Even, she looked down at the ground and her voice lost its intensity. I didn't really mean anything to you, did I? Naruto sighed. If you're referring to some of the things I said before the assassination, then no, I did not mean half of what I said, he answered bluntly, confirming her worst fears. The truth is, I overheard you talking on the wall and decided to seize the opportunity and end the mission. I felt bad for my actions, so once I was inside the Hyuga Manor, I spared your life by knocking you out instead of KU. Hinata shook. Her worst nightmares were coming true right in front of her. He did not love her, she had been used, just like the surviving Hyuga had told her. After all this time of believing that Naruto-kun was still the same kind-hearted, loving genin in her memories, she was proven wrong. Love turned to anger, fury and hatred. Naruto, she growled, you truly are a demon like I've heard people say in the village. I didn't want to believe it, I loved you. Hinata was yelling now. I never believed anything the villagers said about you, but it looks like they were right. In the end, she looked up at him with angry eyes, from which poured tears of heartbreak. Sakura suddenly realized that Hinata was right. She had also heard the villagers call Naruto a demon. Why did they call you that, Naruto? How did they know you were so cold-hearted? Naruto looked at Tsunade incredulously. You mean you didn't tell the children that favorite bedtime story that I grew up with? Sasuke, Sakura and Hinata looked at Tsunade questioningly. She simply answered no. Well then I'm going to have to remedy that, Naruto said calmly. Naruto, are you sure you want to do this? Asked Jiraiya, concerned that the current level of tension would get even worse. Of course, Jiraiya, I'm completely comfortable with it, replied Naruto. He's actually going to tell them the secret, thought Tsunade in amazement. Well then, once upon a time there lived the great Yondaime Hokage, started Naruto. Sakura blinked. Why is he starting the story there? Could he? He lived a nice peaceful village called Konoha, that is, until a great fox demon appeared, the Kyuubi. Now truth be told, Kyuubi had just awoken from a 1,000-year sleep, and what does he find right in the middle of his territory? A village, full of people that attempt to control some of the elements and attack him as soon as they see him. Naruto paused to judge the reactions. Sasuke, Sakura and Hinata are shocked of course, soon they'll be even more shocked. Tsunade and Jiraiya seem kind of interested in the Kyuubi's perspective on this fine tale, but disbelief is also apparent. So he did the same thing you would do if you found a stranger in your house, he attacked. Now, several days of battle passed, the body count kept rising, so finally the Yondaime Hokage appeared on top of Gamabunta and engaged the Kyuubi. After quite a struggle, the Yondaime started the sealing technique, Shiki Fujin. He ended up ripping the Kyuubi's soul out of its body and sealing it into a newborn child. Any guesses on who that might be? Asked Naruto upon finishing his story. Shock, disbelief, and anger mixed with jealousy were on Sakura, Hinata and Sasuke's faces, respectively. Naruto, you. Sakura couldn't formulate a proper question. Naruto nodded in response. No way, she trailed off. Naruto, so this is where you got all your power, Sasuke stated. And you told me never to rely on my cursed seal, you goddamn hypocrite. He yelled. Naruto sighed sadly. Those were different times, Sasuke. I was still trying to live in an ideal world, which didn't hate me, explained Naruto. Naruto, we never hated you, said Tsunade. By we, you mean you, Jiraiya, Iruka and Hinata, he stated. No, sorry, those odds are too small for me to like the village as a whole. Tsunade sighed regretfully. So that is how you were able to beat me 8 years ago, said Sasuke, and you used the same power 3 years ago. Naruto nodded slowly, not really understanding where the Uchiha was getting with this. I will KO you, he yelled. Tsunade gave Sasuke a very harsh look. What the hell do you think you're saying? He's a traitor and replied Sasuke, I will get my revenge. Are you stupid? Yelled Jiraiya, do you want to turn him into an enemy? He already is, countered Sasuke. Ku, for who are you doing it, Sasuke? Asked Naruto, completely calm. I know you didn't care for any of the Hyuga, so for who? Kiba, Ino, or just because? For Lee, he answered. What? Inquired Naruto completely confused, just because I beat him. He's D because of you. yelled Sasuke. Naruto looked over at the others in confusion. Their expressions only confirmed Sasuke's words. No, that's impossible, said Naruto slowly, that attack doesn't K. How do you figure? Asked Tsunade. Well, the technique just knocks the person out, explained Naruto. Well, for Lee, it was combined with a paralysis technique that took out his lower back. I don't see how those two would have K him. Sasuke does not lie, said Tsunade, Lee is D. He did have other wounds, if they were two, mused Naruto in a whisper. Is it possible that he was treated using chakra healing? Naruto asked Tsunade. That is how almost all healing is done now, answered Tsunade, especially post-battle treatments. Well, that could have done it, said Naruto. How to figure on healing techniques K people? Asked Sakura. Hinata, what happens if a tenketsu is closed, but chakra is constantly getting pumped to it? Asked Naruto. It ruptures, she answered somewhat coldly. The pressure point that I used to knock out Lee is in the same place as the cerebellum tenketsu, Naruto explained further. So you're saying that when the medic nins used chakra to heal him, they were actually overloading that particular tenketsu? Asked Sakura. Yes, I remember injuring his back and chakra travels very well up the backbone. So are you trying to shirt the blame now? Asked Sasuke fiercely. Shift the blame, wondered Naruto. I am merely proposing a logical explanation for what happened. By saying that it's not your fault, countered Sasuke. It isn't, shouted Naruto. How the hell was I to know they would use chakra to heal him? His wounds weren't that bad anyway, and he would have become conscious within 2 days. It is still your fault, yelled Sasuke. You're hopeless, said Naruto. Maybe I should have used the Kyuubi's instincts instead of listening to your brother when it came to KU. Jiraiya's jerked up. You can talk to it? He asked disbelievingly. Yes, I could. Tsunade tilted her head slightly. You could. Yes, he's gone. Jiraiya's eyes widened. What do you mean, he's gone? Doesn't anyone know how that seal was designed? Naruto received completely confused looks. It's in their own scroll of seals and they are completely oblivious, he sighed. The seal was designed to absorb the Kyuubi after a period of time, explained Naruto. And exactly when did this happen? Inquired Tsunade. Several months before the Junin exam, replied Naruto calmly. But during the Hyuga assassination I felt its chakra, said Jiraiya. I can use his powers as if they were my own, explained Naruto. Tsunade and Jiraiya gasped. They come in handy for hunting purposes, he smiled coyly. Oh yes, that reminds me, do you know what happened to Orochimaru? Asked Naruto. He's gone into hiding, answered Jiraiya, even I can't find him. Really? Asked Naruto slyly. Tsunade instantly caught on to his tone. Naruto, what do you know about that snake? Not so easy, Tsunade, said Naruto with a fox grin. I'm not just going to tell you. Then what do you want? She asked, hoping for some sort of compromise. A certain scroll you have. A scroll? Asked Tsunade. What scroll would you want? Is he really going to ask for the scroll of seals? Thought Tsunade. The scroll belongs to me, said Naruto cryptically. Jiraiya started to catch on. Are you referring to your father's scroll? He asked skeptically. Yes, and it belongs to me. Tsunade's eyes narrowed. It is the property of the village, but how is it that you know about it? Naruto smirked. I have my ways of finding these things out, and property of the village my ass. It has my name on it, he said forcefully. You know, from the Yondaime, to Uzumaki Naruto. What? Yelled Sakura and Hinata. Sasuke was just taken back. You heard correctly, said Naruto. How did you know? Asked Jiraiya. Someone had the decency to tell me, said Naruto with his eyes narrowed in resentment. You weren't ready for that kind of information 8 years ago, replied Jiraiya. Oh yay, and believing that my parents were absolutely insignificant was much better, countered Naruto sarcastically. Back then you'd brag about everything, so we couldn't trust you with that kind of information, responded Jiraiya. No, I would have taken it to heart. I was a lot more mature than anyone here will ever know. Look, Naruto, I'm sorry that I did not tell you, and that I underestimated you, said Tsunade. Naruto sighed. That doesn't really matter, he said. Then after a pause, how about a trade? Trade, wondered Tsunade. Yes, the scroll for information about the snake Sannin, offered Naruto. How can we be sure you won't lie to us? Questioned Sakura. You'll have to trust my word. Humph, your word isn't good anymore, scoffed Sasuke. He's right, said Jiraiya, you've broken a couple of your promises already. Yay, like protecting your friends, added Hinata. I haven't KU yet, have I? Plus the only people, from the leaf, that I truly consider my friends are, Iruka, Tsunade, and maybe Jiraiya and Hinata. What do you mean, maybe? Asked Jiraiya. You did K Itachi Ni-chan, so my friendship with you is a bit unstable, explained Naruto. Jiraiya scowled at the Ni-chan part and Sasuke glared at Naruto. Tsunade tried to change the subject and break the arising tension. You give us the information and then I'll give you the scroll, offered Tsunade. You're actually going to bargain with a traitor? Questioned Sakura. Tsunade noticed the disrespectful look on Sasuke's face. Do not question the Hokage. She glared at Sasuke and Sakura, who cowered back in fear. Naruto smirked at the display of power while contemplating Tsunade's offer. I trust the old hag, but if they hear that he's D, more questions will arise, and worst case scenario they'll figure it out, and it'll be like trading with the enemy, but if worst comes to worst, I do have something to fall back on. Alright, I'll tell you, responded Naruto, but first I need to see that you actually have the scroll. He's definitely wised up, though Tsunade, good thing I brought the scroll. Fine, she pulled the scroll out of her pocket and showed it to Naruto, who activated his enhanced sight to make sure it was the right one. After briefly activating his demon eyes and not finding any genjutsu around the scroll, he nodded in approval. You may think that Orochimaru disappeared off the face of the earth 2 years ago, Naruto paused a little, and you are absolutely right. What the hell do you mean by that? Yelled Jiraiya. Isn't it obvious? Seeing the confusion on their faces, he's D. Impossible, said Sasuke matter-of-factly. Why? Because you can't K him? Asked Naruto coldly. Because only another Sannin could match him in power, replied Sakura. Itachi outmatched him in power, stated Naruto. He had the Sharingan to his advantage, countered Sakura. So you don't believe me? Asked Naruto. Hell no, answered Sasuke and Sakura at the same time. I wasn't asking you, said Naruto looking at Tsunade. Do you have proof? Tsunade finally asked. Naruto sighed regretfully. No, I don't have any evidence. He noticed Sasuke was going to say something and decided to continue. His lair was burned down soon after his death, and his head disposed of several months later. Sasuke's eyes narrowed. You know too much, he said in a low voice. True, Naruto, how do you know all the details? Asked Jiraiya suspiciously. Naruto shifted his eyes away from the leaf nin and sighed. Is it not obvious? He asked quietly. He heard a, ha, from someone, and grew out his claws holding his right hand in front of his face. Foxes hunt snakes, don't you know? Sakura and Hinata gasped while the others were just taken aback. Why you KKK him? Asked Sasuke uncertainly. Naruto continued to stare off into space while answering. He was supposed to be just a test. Tsunade's eyebrows shot up, taking on that snake as a test. My real objective, at the time, was Jiraiya. Jiraiya twitched slightly. At the time, I wanted revenge for Itachi, but I doubted my powers since Itachi had always been able to best me, so I needed a trial run, someone with as much strength as Jiraiya. One of the Sannin was an immediate choice. However, since attacking Tsunade was the same as war on the leaf, I went after the last remaining Sannin. What I don't understand, is why you didn't come after me 2 years ago. Asked Jiraiya. I was preoccupied, replied Naruto with a slight smile. People, I suppose, said Sasuke. Only you can be so blinded by rage and revenge that you don't see anything around you, countered Naruto. What the hell do you know? Yelled Sasuke. I know quite a bit. I know that your brother didn't want you D. Sasuke was taken aback. Rather he wanted you to be able to see through the image. Image? What image? That he's ABM. Yelled Sasuke. Naruto sighed. So stupid for a genius, he thought. It is your duty to figure it out. I can't give you all the answers, he said in a calm tone. Sasuke growled. You talk like you know everything. You know nothing. Your brother told me everything, Sasuke-kun, said Naruto with a cold demeanor, more than you see in your worst nightmares. At that point Sasuke couldn't handle it anymore and charged at Naruto with his Sharingan blaring. He went to punch Naruto, but Naruto dodged, However, Sasuke's Sharingan predicted where Naruto was going to go, and Sasuke instantly sent a kick at that place. Unfortunately for Sasuke, Naruto was used to this, so before the kick could connect, Sasuke felt a sharp in his kidney and immediately felt that he was being thrown back by a kick to the stomach. Tsunade had watched as Naruto countered Sasuke's Sharingan by creating a clone behind Sasuke, without using any hand seals and thus fooling the Sharingan. Not surprising for someone that trained under a Sharingan master. She thought. Sasuke was pissed off, but was now being held firmly by Jiraiya. "You idiot, don't you see that he can easily you?" yelled Jiraiya right in Sasuke's ear. Naruto glared at Sasuke for a moment, then returned his gaze to Tsunade. "My scroll, if you will," he requested in a calm tone. "Don't give it to him," yelled Sakura, running up to Tsunade. "Not after what he did to Sasuke-kun." "That bastard attacked me, I merely defended myself," said Naruto while glaring at the pink-haired girl. "You provoked him," said Hinata coldly. "By telling him the truth, perhaps," he said calmly, "but as a shinobi he needs to keep his feeling in check." "You did it on purpose and you know it," said Tsunade, making a move to put the scroll back in her pocket. Naruto's eyes narrowed. "My half of the deal is done," he said in a half growl, "now pay up." Naruto's eyes glimmered red when Tsunade completely removed the scroll from view. "What the hell do you think you're doing, Hokage?" asked Naruto enraged. "You are not the Naruto I once knew, and certainly not one worthy of any kind of sympathy from me," asked Tsunade coldly. "Sympathy. Sympathy," Naruto spat out. "Who the hell asked for your sympathy?" Naruto had to calm himself a little bit. "I came here for a simple talk of neutrality and to get back my belonging." He paused to study Tsunade, who still had her cold demeanor on. "We made a deal. Are you as the Hokage of the Hidden Leaf going to disrespect your word?" he asked, trying to play the honor issue. Tsunade smirked coldly. "I am not obliged to anything when dealing with traitorous S." Jiraiya had always been optimistic that Naruto was not evil and could be made into a friend of the village once more, so he was shocked that Tsunade had turned her back on Naruto. Sasuke, on the other hand, saw this as an opportunity to escape and broke free of Jiraiya's hold. He jumped to the side and started going through the hand seals for the Chidori. Naruto's eyes darkened when he noticed that Tsunade was doing nothing to stop Sasuke. He looked at the Hokage with a slight glimmer of hope. "If he goes through with this, I will take it as an act of war," he gave his ultimatum. "I never should have agreed to this meeting in the first place," uttered Tsunade just before the deafening screech of the Chidori overrode all other sounds in the region. As Sasuke was rushing towards him, everyone clearly saw Naruto's eyes almost completely drain of color. Just as the Chidori was about to make contact, Sasuke was thrown back halfway across the clearing, and a large dust cloud appeared on either side of Naruto. When it cleared, Leaf Nin saw 3 sound nins and a former Akatsuki member and missing nin from the mist, Hoshigaki Kisame. "It sounded like you were in trouble, Naruto," said Kisame. "Well, they did basically declare war," replied Naruto. "Whatever happened to coming alone?" questioned Sakura, sounding betrayed. "You didn't follow the rules either, so don't question me, B," Naruto said coldly, pissing off Sakura. Naruto drew his sword and pointed it at Jiraiya. "Looks like we are well matched." The sword in Naruto's hand vanished, reappearing back in its sheath. Naruto instantly got into a loose stance, getting ready to attack Jiraiya. "Don't underestimate me, Dobe, you'll need that sword of yours," said Sasuke and charged at Naruto. However, before he could completely make it to Naruto, he was intercepted by a sound nin with a large scar across his forehead. Sasuke stopped where he was and glared at the sound nin. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" he asked vehemently. "Your opponent is me," declared the scarred shinobi. "What the hell?" growled Sasuke and tried to get around the sound nin, but forced back once more. "Fine. Prepare to yelled Sasuke as he charged at the scarred shinobi. In midair, Sasuke was trying to calm himself. "I cannot let my emotions control me," he thought. "Just concentrate on your objective, K." The sound nin pulled out his kunai. "Do you really think a couple of shuriken will help?" he asked as he prepared to block them. Sasuke smirked and formed a single hand seal. The sound nin's eyes widened. "I've seen Otokage-sama use that jutsu once." Sasuke channeled some chakra and said, "Kage Shuriken no Jutsu," making the 3 shuriken into 30. The sound nin was forced to put away the kunai and run through a quick set of seals. He then placed his palms on the ground and said, Doten, earth wall no jutsu. As planned, the wall stopped the projectiles, but Sasuke was nowhere to be seen. The Sound Nin looked around, his senses on high alert, but still couldn't find his opponent. Just as he started thinking that his opponent had once again started to pursue the Otokage, a hand shot out from the ground. Doten, Shinju Zanshu no Jutsu, in a decapitation, was heard as the Sound Nin found himself being pulled down. However, as soon as he pressed into his opponent's skin, it started crumpling. What the hell? Questioned Sasuke. He then punched his opponent's head, only to have it crumble into dirt. Damn it. I can't believe I fell for that, Sasuke scolded himself. This, of course, was no time to relax, as Sasuke suddenly felt a presence very close behind him and unfortunately didn't have time to dodge or block as a fierce kick was delivered to his side, leaving him with very little time to recover before another onslaught of kicks and punches was sent his way. Sasuke was getting annoyed again and activated his Sharingan to be able to easily block and counter his opponent's attacks, not to mention copy his jutsus. Instantly, Sasuke was able to see his opponent's next attack and was able to dodge and instantly deliver a fierce punch right under his opponent's arm. Afterwards, Sasuke immediately elbowed the Sound Nin in the chin and kicked him into a tree. The Sound Nin stood up and looked right into Sasuke's eyes. He gasped when he saw the Sharingan. Sasuke smirked at his reaction. Before the Sound Nin had time to recompose himself, Sasuke did a few very quick hand seals and his palms on the ground. Doten, landbind no jutsu, said Sasuke. The dirt under the Sound Nin's feet rose up and wrapped itself around his feet tightly, holding him in place. Sasuke did several more hand seals and held his left arm slightly away from his body as chakra started to appear all around his left hand. Chidori. He cried and dashed at his opponent. The Sound Nin did a few hand seals and bent down to the ground. Doten, Doroku Geishi, he said, earth wall land flip. The Sound Nin happily realized that Sasuke would be unable to alter his path and would be forced to hit the wall instead. Sasuke saw the wall and scoffed lightly. The Chidori will easily go through that, he thought as he increased his speed. The Chidori impacted the earth wall with a loud explosive sound and immediately ate straight through the wall and continued onto the Sound Nin. What? Yelled the Sound Shinobi in his mind. Sasuke's Sharingan eyes narrowed as he saw his opponent gather a small amount of chakra. It didn't matter, though, as the Chidori hit the Sound Nin a second later. However, instead of flying in all directions, a puff was heard and the Sound Nin disappeared in smoke to be replaced with a log. Kawarimi, mumbled Sasuke. Yes, came the reply from behind Sasuke, sometimes the basics are a major help. HMPH, was the only thing heard from Sasuke. The Sound Nin started to make hand seals, but before he could even get the second one done, he felt a presence very close to him. But mostly, basics are useless, concluded Sasuke, and let the body fall. Meanwhile with Naruto. As they split, Naruto forced Jiraiya to the corner of the meadow, so as not to involve anyone else. After 3 years, we finally meet on the battlefield, said Naruto. Naruto, you don't have to do this, said Jiraiya, we can work things out, I can talk to Tsunade. Naruto see him off, and say what? She obviously hates me. I saw it, through all her genjutsu, I saw that hatred hidden deep inside. Jiraiya sighed and shook his head lightly. I can't say you don't deserve it, Naruto, he said softly. First you leave and join the Akatsuki. Noticing the slight surprise on Naruto's face, he clarified, yes, I found out you were in the Akatsuki about a year after you joined. I told Tsunade, but no one else. We gave you the benefit of the doubt and assumed that they forced you. But then, you go and do something as horrible as the Hyuga M. Do you know how much chaos you caused? I can guess, calmly responded Naruto. Over the years, she's grown more and more wary of you. Trust being replaced by hatred, you betrayed her, Naruto. Now that you hold a high position in the Sound, who are sworn enemies of the Leaf, Naruto's eyes narrowed at this new information. You've spying on me, haven't you, Ero Sennin? Asked Naruto. We had been getting reports on the Sound from a team inside for a year before 2 members vanished without a trace. That was a year ago, just as the new Otokage came to power, explained Jiraiya. Naruto scoffed and smirked darkly. You want to know whether or not Konohamaru and Mogi are D or not? Naruto stated, and not only that, but you want to know who the Otokage is because that is a vital piece of information that you have been unable to get, am I right? Jiraiya stared at Naruto with a raised eyebrow. This definitely isn't the Naruto I once knew. To be able to see through me like this, Jiraiya contemplated his next move. Will you be so kind as to answer then? Naruto laughed lightly. I will say that they are not yet. Jiraiya stiffened at the last part. But you also wonder what part one play in all this, stated Naruto, and Jiraiya nodded. Let's just, spoils to the victor, said Naruto with a slight smile. Either way, Naruto suddenly dashed forward and punched an unsuspecting Jiraiya in the stomach. This battle will continue. Damn it, should have expected that, the Sannin scolded himself. He mentally kicked himself into battle mode and was successfully able to block or dodge all of Naruto's punches and kicks. Once he saw an opening, he hit Naruto in the stomach and sent him flying back. However, he noticed that Naruto flew back farther than he should have. He purposely left that opening, so that he could use the momentum from my punch to get farther away. That means a long-range attack. As soon as Jiraiya thought that, a lone shuriken was sent at Jiraiya. Once it was very close Jiraiya, it multiplied into several hundred. However, Jiraiya had expected that and had left a bushin in his place while he crossed the battlefield to where Naruto would land. That pervert won't fall for the shuriken, so instead of cage bushin I'll make it regular bushin, and he quickly did some hand seals. I'll set up a little something for him. As soon as Jiraiya landed, he felt very strong winds around him. At the same time, Naruto got the final fix on Jiraiya's location and activated his jutsu, tornado, he whispered. The winds around Jiraiya started spinning wildly, and instantly began tearing his clothes apart. With his plans foiled, Jiraiya did the only thing he could, raise a fuwa to ninjutsu defense. Naruto smirked, good, now I've got you right where I want you. He formed several hand seals, quicksand, he tapped his foot. Jiraiya thought he was temporarily safe within his wind barrier, when suddenly he felt himself sinking. What the hell? He looked down and saw that the ground beneath him had turned into quicksand. He tried to use chakra to oppose the effects only to find that he began sinking faster. This is the Sand Village's special resistance quicksand, concluded Jiraiya. He then released his wind barrier, but was surprised that Naruto's wind attack was still going. The kid's good, to be able to hold two different types of ninjutsus going at the same time. Even though his instant reaction was to avoid the attack, Jiraiya smirked and let the tornado hit him. Naruto narrowed his eyes, using my own attack to help himself, albeit getting a little bit, but it's worth the S. Just as Naruto released both jutsus, he heard the unmistakable sound, the Chidori. Looking over at the source, he couldn't help but curse, damn it. Hirotaro is not suited to fight the Uchiha, that wall won't stop the Chidori. While Naruto was distracted, Jiraiya had enough time to recover. He quickly summoned a toad that was twice his size and had two katanas. Naruto was brought back to his own battle by the sound of swords being drawn and the slight shaking of the ground. Turning to look, he saw a large toad charging at him, dual-wielding katanas. Cursed Naruto as he drew his own sword and parried the toad's attack. Naruto alternated blocking one sword and dodging the other, and in a little while managed to land a blow on the toad's shoulder. However, his game was thrown off as Jiraiya attacked in sync with the toad, so while Naruto blocked the swords, Jiraiya managed to kick him in the back. Naruto realized that he wouldn't just be fighting the toad and mentally prepared himself for the time when Jiraiya would attack. He'll probably attack me from the back, mused Naruto. After blocking the swords, he felt a presence behind him that was closing in fast, so he's going to attack now, I better get ready. Naruto had set up a very thin chakra barrier on his back so that he would sense the attack before it actually impacted him, so as soon as he felt the barrier being breached, he transferred some chakra to his feet and jumped a little bit upwards of the direction the kick would push him. Thus, for a few valuable seconds, Naruto ended up right above the toad's head. He, of course, used this time to his benefit and chopped the toad's head in two with his katana. When he landed behind the toad, he saw it vanish into smoke and caught a quick glimpse of Jiraiya biting him thumb and doing hand seals. Is he going to? Before Naruto could finish his thought, a giant cloud of smoke pushed him back about 100 feet. Once he got back on his feet, he saw Jiraiya standing on top of Gamabunta. What are you going to do now, Naruto? Asked Jiraiya with a sly grin. No other toad will fight against the boss. Suddenly out of nowhere, Naruto once again heard the Chidori, though this time it sounded like it was coming towards him. What the hell? He turned around and was greeted by the sight of Sasuke running at full speed at him, Chidori blazing. Is he serious? Thought Naruto with amazement. Naruto sighed and slowly did several hand seals. I hope this is the right way to do it, he thought. Naruto finished the hand seals and held his hand tightly in a clapping position. What happened next took both Jiraiya and Sasuke by surprise. Sasuke suddenly fell to the ground, releasing the Chidori and screaming in pain while holding his cursed seal. Well, I guess it does work, said Naruto with a hint of surprise in his voice. Sasuke looked up with hatred in his eyes. What the hell did you do to me? He seethed. Well, you see, Orochimaru used the cursed seal as a means to control his subordinates, and this is the pinnacle of that control, explained Naruto. So you didn't actually K him, did you? Asked Jiraiya with contempt. You're working for him, aren't you? No, I did K him, replying Naruto calmly, though he was boiling with rage inside. How dare he even assume that I would work for that snake? Naruto decided to stop right there before he got too carried away. Spoils of war, people, he chuckled. I just went through Orochimaru's stash of scrolls after I K him and found a little something about the cursed seal. If this deal had gone like I had planned, I would have given you this scroll because it also talks about how to remove these seals, but now, Naruto trailed off as Sasuke finally passed out from pain. Now, where were we? He asked as he turned back to Jiraiya. By this time Gamabunta had become aware of the situation. If you fight me, Naruto, you can consider our contract null and void, he stated, and Jiraiya laughed. Naruto chuckled darkly. Who needs toads? He bit his thumb and ran through a half-dozen hand seals. Kuchio's no jutsu, he said, and disappeared into a large cloud of smoke. In the next moment he was standing a little higher than Jiraiya, on the head of a black fox with yellow malicious eyes. Jiraiya's laughter instantly. You were saying something? Asked Naruto darkly. Jiraiya gulped. Even though the fox's eyes were yellow, they were in the same shape as the Kyuubi's. He's probably the only one to ever have the fox summoning contract, contemplated Jiraiya, no doubt given to him by the Kyuubi. Gamabunta almost dropped his pipe. Impossible, no one should have the fox summoning contract. It's forbidden and was sealed away with the Lord of Foxes, he said. The fox boss chose this time to speak up. Lord Kyuubi-sama chose Naruto-sama a more than worthy successor of the contract, he said with pride. Shall we, Yori? Naruto calmly said to the fox. Yori gave a slight growl and crouched down preparing to attack. You damn fox, yelled Gamabunta. We get that a lot, don't we, Yori? Said Naruto somewhat sadly. Yori, vines, thought Naruto, knowing that Yori could hear him because of the telepathic link Naruto has with all foxes. Naruto did the hand seals, and Yori generated and directed the chakra appropriately. At first a single vine tendril went up to encircle each of Gamabunta's legs and arms. Gamabunta saw once the two that were going up to capture the legs were successful, a dozen more shot out of the ground. Some entangled the legs further, while others intertwined with each other to bind the legs together. Yori charged once again, Naruto doing hand seals throughout the run. As soon as the fox got within striking distance of the toad, it just disappeared. Huh. What the hell is he doing? Wondered both Gamabunta and Jiraiya. They didn't have much time to ponder this as a Fuutan attack suddenly hit them head-on, out of nowhere, and because Gamabunta was tied down, he was forced to take the whole of the attack. Naruto smiled darkly at the sight. That's the beauty of Invortex, it travels right behind me and hits my opponents right after I disappear. Naruto quickly started contemplating his next attack. Invortex damaged the vines enough to allow Gamabunta to see through them without too much effort. Yori, I'll need you to rip apart the toad while I engage Jiraiya. Yes, Naruto-sama, replied the fox. The fox boss charged in and began attacking Gamabunta using his tail, nails and teeth, right as the toad finished the vines himself. Gamabunta had at first tried blocking with his katana, but soon realized that the fox was a lot faster and more agile. It was at this time that Naruto teleported onto Gamabunta's head and knocked Jiraiya down to ground level. Gamabunta jumped back, away from the fox, and formed a hand seal, Sutan, Teppodama. 2 water bullets shot out of Gamabunta's mouth. Yori paused his onslaught for a second to also form a hand seal, Fuutan, Renkudan. He countered the toad's attack with 2 airwave cannons. Water was scattered all around the battlefield. By the time the water cleared, Yori was already next to Gamabunta, fiercely attacking him again. Naruto noticed Jiraiya looking at the summoning's battle and said, "We have our own fight to finish, wouldn't you agree, Jiraiya-san?" Jiraiya got into a fighting stance waiting for Naruto to attack. "Gamabunta can take care of himself, I should worry more about my former student." Naruto did a single hand seal and the ground under Jiraiya exploded. Jiraiya jumped away to dodge, but the ground under him exploded once more. He must have set up chakra-activated landmines. Jiraiya finally settled in a tree only to have the ground beneath the tree blow up and the tree fall. As soon as Jiraiya recovered, he was assaulted by a swarm of punches and kicks. The Sannin managed to block one of his punches and catch that arm, but Naruto seemed prepared for that and did a few one-handed seals and brought the tips of his fingers to his mouth. "Kaiten, Gukaku," he thought and breathed out. The Toad Sannin wasn't stupid, he instantly used Kawarimi, so Naruto ended up burning a log. Jiraiya sat high up in a tree watching Naruto just stand in the field all alone. He's really a tough opponent, and that black fox of his has already made Gamabunta disappear. Good thing it didn't decide to attack me, thought the Sannin. And to think he hasn't used his signature technique yet, the Kage Bushin. Just then Jiraiya realized that no way Naruto would have stayed in the middle of the field doing nothing. He felt a presence right behind him. "Naruto Renden." Naruto chuckled lightly, "Haven't used that one since I left Konoha." He then took these few seconds to look around the battlefield. What he saw did not please him. He saw a mostly worn-out Kisame go flying courtesy of Tsunde's punch. "I need to end," he thought and brought his attention back to the Toad Sannin. Meanwhile with Kisame saw Naruto jump at Jiraiya and Uchiha Sasuke was stopped from following Naruto by Hirotaro. "I guess I'm the only one who can take on another Sannin," he thought. "Looks like my fight is with you, Hokage-sama," said Kisame while unstrapping his samehada. Tsunade scowled. "Fine, let's do this," she said, crouching down into a half stance. Kisame charged right at her, holding his samehada to the side with only his right hand. He went to swipe Tsunade right across the chest, but she jumped back and counter-attacked with a Kaiten Jutsu. Kisame put the samehada in front of himself, stopping all the flames from hitting him. However, the bandages on his samehada were completely burned off. Kisame smirked and attacked with the samehada again. Tsunade did her best to dodge, but was finally forced to block it with her kunai. She tried to channel chakra into her kunai to help block the samehada, but found that it was all disappearing. "My samehada eat up chakra," clarified Kisame when he saw Tsunade's confused look. Tsunade scowled and pushed Kisame's samehada off of her with her freakish strength. She then dashed at him with punches and kicks. Kisame mostly dodged. The one time he went to block with the samehada, Tsunade disappeared, reappearing right behind him and delivering a terrifying blow to his right shoulder. Kisame ended up flying into a tree all the way on the other side of the clearing. "Damn, that woman probably broke my right shoulder. Good thing I can still wield with my left hand, though not as well," thought Kisame as he was getting up. As soon as he was up again, Tsunade jumped at him with chakra visible around her hands and began attacking all his vital points. Since Kisame couldn't block as fast, he was finally forced to use a ninjutsu. Taking a little extra time to concentrate, Kisame ran through the necessary hand seals, Suten, spiral water shield. Within the barrier, Kisame was wincing in pain. "Damn, it sure hurts to make water." Tsunade knew that attacking the water shield would be futile, so she deactivated her medical jutsu and instead started doing hand seals for another jutsu. "Doton, mud spike," she said quietly. Kisame suddenly felt chakra gathering right below him. A Doton jutsu. He quickly released the shield and tried jumping away from the spike that was coming up right next to his leg, but the spike had already started wrapping itself around Kisame's leg. Tsunade had once again activated her medical jutsu and charged at Kisame. Kisame put the samehada in front of himself while quickly doing a few hand seals. "Good thing Itachi-san showed me some Doton jutsus," he thought. "Doton, diffusion," he said and channeled chakra to his captured leg. The mud spike quickly turned into muddy water and Kisame was able to block with his samehada while jumping away. Kisame panted, "I poured a little too much chakra into it, but it couldn't be helped, I needed the speed." Tsunade narrowed her eyes. "I've never heard of that jutsu, I wonder where a Mist Nin would learn that." Though it seemed to have worn him out quite a bit, she contemplated. Just then she heard a giant rumbling and looked over to see Naruto and Jiraiya fighting on top of their summonings. A black fox, she mused, but didn't have much time to wonder about it since out of the corner of her eye she saw Kisame get up to his feet. Kisame had also noticed the summonings appear, but wasn't so surprised as he had seen Naruto summon foxes before. Rather he focused on Tsunade, who for now seemed distracted by the appearance of the black fox. He quickly formed a single hand seal and created a regular bushin in his place, while he hid. The bushin started to slowly stand up and eventually caught Tsunade's attention. As soon as she saw him standing, she immediately charged at him and went to punch his jaw, but the punch went right through as the bushin suddenly disappeared. Kisame used this opportunity to see the Hokage on the back, but when his sword hit her she also disappeared in a cloud of smoke. What? No. She saw through the bushin, then that would mean that Kisame wasn't allowed to finish his thought because Tsunade appeared right in front of him and punched him straight in the chest, sending him flying. Kisame was having trouble breathing. If only we were fighting in a more moist place. Just then, a mass of water came down from the sky soaking everything in sight. I never thought my prayers would be answered, he thought. Kisame quickly did a couple of hand seals. Sukoden no jutsu, he said. Great water attack. The water that had just fallen onto the ground, gathered up and launched itself at an amazing speed right at the female Sannin. Tsunade did a few hand seals and her palms into the ground, and Kikai. A wall of earth came up right in front of her and shielded Tsunade from the water attack, but it did not hold for long. Soon the wall started to dissolve into mud and the Suten Jutsu broke through, sending Tsunade crashing along the ground half a dozen times. The attack was powerful, but it left Kisame in a very vulnerable position. He realized that that was probably the one and only time that he would be able to use a Suten Jutsu, so he poured a lot of chakra into that one move, hoping that it would sufficiently injure the female Sannin. Tsunade was pretty badly injured from that last water attack, but she quickly did a self-healing jutsu and most of the sea and bruises disappeared instantly. I may not have a whole lot of chakra left, but it is enough to beat the crap out of him. She then walked over to a very injured Kisame and punched him right under the jaw, sending him flying across the battlefield. Kisame tried to get back up and attack her with his same hada, but Tsunade casually dodged it and easily knocked it out of his hand. This is the end of the line, she said and activated her chakra scalpel. Tsunade deactivated her medical jutsu and turned to look over at Naruto and Jiraiya's battle. What she was terrified her. There was Jiraiya standing on one knee, and Naruto was standing right in front of him with his katana drawn. Just then a sound nin appeared in front of her and attempted to punch her, however his attack was stopped by a chakra layer. What the hell? Thought the sound nin. Then he was suddenly thrown back. In flight he saw a rotating sphere of chakra enclosing his opponent. So she uses the force of rotating chakra to push me away. That defense would of course also repel chakra as well as people, analyzed the sound nin. As he was nearing the ground, he flipped himself over and landed perfectly on his feet. Hinata deactivated her Kaiten and at the same time activated the Byakugan. She instantly crouched down into the Hyuga-Yuken, gentle fist, taijutsu stance and motioned her opponent to attack her. Think Lee. Her opponent did not rush in though, she looks very confident in close combat. Pure taijutsu probably won't work on her, I'll have to use my nin taijutsu, he mused. He dashed at Hinata and went to kick her in the stomach. She blocked, but her arm shook a little while it was in contact with the sound nin's leg. He had chakra surrounding the leg that he kicked me with, but that still doesn't explain why my hand shook like that, wondered Hinata. However, she didn't want to lose this opportunity and since her opponent was within hand's reach, she attacked him aiming to close several important tenketsus. The sound nin quickly realized that she was using chakra in her attacks and so he gathered a bit of chakra to his mouth and blew out. Do! He screamed and knocked Hinata back. Noticing the confused look on her face he decided to explain a little, it's a sound attack. Chakra can be used to manipulate many things, one of them is sound and in this case it can be used as you just saw. Hinata narrowed her eyes slightly, so that is how you were able to make my arm shake, he nodded lightly. Like I thought, he relies a lot on chakra, so I will have to close as many his tenketsus as I can, planned Hinata. Good, as long she hangs on to that explanation I have a definite edge on her, thought the sound nin with a mental smile, but retained his emotionless composure. He disappeared and reappeared right behind her, but wasn't able to even begin his attack as she quickly hit him in the arm and closed off a tenketsu. Damn it, those special eyes of hers must have something to do with this, and what the hell did she do to that point on my arm? Wondered the sound nin. He jumped back a little ways away from her, she just jumped after him. No time, she's going to continue her onslaught. Then, he quickly did several hand seals and covered his whole body in a layer of chakra. What? Does he think that he'll be able to stop the gentle fist by covering himself in chakra? Hinata smirked, it's not that easy. She continued with her attacks, pumping in a little more chakra into each hit to compensate. As his blocks got harsher, she noticed that her hands were shaking more and more after each collision. He couldn't just be manipulating sound. At this point, Hinata saw an opening and hit him hard with an open palm, sending him tumbling over the ground. Yes, she thought. You are within my field of divination, said Hinata as she got into the appropriate stance. Divination? Questioned the sound nin. Whatever it is, it can't good for me. He quickly started preparing a ninjutsu. Hakushu, Rokuju Yonshu, said Hinata and charged at the sound nin. A.N. Hand of the 8 divinations, 64 palms. The sound nin saw her coming and unleashed his counterattack, Sonic Boom. He yelled and held his palms outwards at Hinata. Hinata knew that he was attacking, but was already locked into her own attack. He's planning something. Oh well, I'll just have to beat him to it, she thought, and increased her speed. However, as soon as she hit one of his open palms, a loud explosion was heard and Hinata was blown back savagely. She landed several dozen yards away and tumbled along the ground until she hit a tree. Damn, she took the attack at point-blank range. She's not getting off without several major injuries, reflected the sound shinobi. He watched Hinata get up and hold her left arm while slightly limping on her left leg. She's injured, now's the time to attack, he thought, and quickly began doing hand seals. Hinata saw her opponent getting ready to attack her and patiently waited for his attack to come, knowing she would have to rely on the Hyuga's ultimate defense. The sound nin fired off several chakra-based projectiles, at least that's what they looked like through the Byakugan. When the projectiles were about to hit, Hinata released chakra all around her body and began spinning, kaiten. The sound nin smirked, just as I thought, she's resorting to that same spinning defense. He closed his eyes in concentration and did a few quick hand seals, fracture waves, he whispered. To an onlooker it looked like nothing happened, but then again sound waves are invisible. Suddenly the kaiten broke down and an agony-faced Hinata was seen stumbling out of the center of the crater. Her upper body looked somehow deformed, her Byakugan had been deactivated. She stumbled a little and finally fell to ground face first. The sound shinobi narrowed his eyes. Something's not right. That attack was aimed at the lower ribs, but that deformity makes it look like. His eyes suddenly shot open in realization. Of course, that defense digs into the ground, so what was lower ribs before became collarbone. The sound nin then made his way towards her. I wonder if she's still alive, he mused. He made his way over to Hinata, flipped her over onto her back and lightly examined her body. Yup, definitely a collarbone hit, he sighed, he shook his head. It doesn't matter, she's dead either way, he mumbled. He closed her eyes and slowly walked away from Hinata's body. Well, my bloodline is one of the most powerful in the sound, he thought with a slight smile of pride. Sakura's battle. Sakura was paired off with a female sound shinobi with short purple hair. The sound nin attacked Sakura with taijutsu, which Sakura countered relatively easily. However, she felt that she was burdened with all the weapons she was carrying, so she jumped back and threw half a dozen shuriken at her opponent. The purple-haired shinobi dodged the shuriken and went to attack Sakura, but was stopped short as she felt the shuriken closing in on her once again. Chakra strings, she concluded. She quickly formed a few hand seals and disappeared underground. The sound nin's hand came up right below Sakura and she quickly used the Shinju Zanshu no Jutsu on Sakura, only to find that the leaf nin had replaced herself with a log. Damn. And I was underground, so I don't know where she could have gone, cursed the sound nin. Soon the sound shinobi found that she was unable to move. Looking down, she realized that her legs were caught in newly hardened mud. How did I not notice? She wondered. Then she realized that the mud was slowly making its way up her body, hardening as it went up, making a sort of second skin over the sound nin. There's no way I can get out of this alone, she thought and bit her thumb. Sakura, meanwhile, was hiding in a neighboring tree overlooking her opponent. Sakura's hands were locked in a hand seal and little bits of sweat were visible on her forehead from concentration. I hope the genjutsu swallows her up before she is able to summon, hoped Sakura. But things weren't going to go Sakura's way, and right as the genjutsu generated mud grabbed the Sound Nin's arm, she had already completed her hand seals. Kuchios, she said and raised her right arm over her head. Smoke covered the area above her arm and soon a spotted brown and black owl appeared right above her. Yes, master, it asked. Pull me out of this mud, half cried the Sound Nin. Meanwhile, Sakura encased her victim in another genjutsu where a tree was tightly holding the purple-haired ninja and Sakura's head was coming out right above her. I have you now, said Sakura with a kunai in hand. This isn't good, thought the summoning, I have to use it, even this early in the battle. The owl quickly did a few hand seals. Its eyes turned absolutely white and it dug its claws into the Sound Nin's arm, pulling her in the direction opposite of the imaginary tree. As soon as her owl clawed her, the Sound Nin was immediately aware that she was trapped within a genjutsu and that her summoning was countering it. Thanks, Yashi, she said. Good thing I summoned the owl that has a special ability of seeing through and freeing themselves and their summoner from all genjutsus. Though they can only use this ability once a day, but when you're in jam it really helps. Once free of the genjutsu she saw Sakura a little ways ahead of her, standing in the middle of the battlefield with a very confused expression. Opportunity, thought the Sound Nin and quickly did a half-dozen hand seals. Fuutan, wind tunnel, she said and shot the attack right at her pink-haired opponent. Sakura could not believe that the Sound Nin was able to so easily escape her genjutsu. Did she purposely wait until I revealed myself to cancel my jutsu? Wondered Sakura, still not aware of her surroundings. How did she? Sakura couldn't complete her thought as she felt sudden wind around herself and the next moment she was forcefully thrown back and into a tree. I can't let my mind wander like that during battle, she scolded herself. Looking up, but was surprised to find her opponent gone. However, that didn't last long because soon she heard a voice somewhere above her. Razor feathers, said the Sound Nin while riding on the back of the owl. The next thing Sakura knew several hundred projectiles were headed her way. Doten Kikai, half dome, said Sakura as she put her palms on the ground. A wall of dirt came up in front of Sakura and curved back to cover Sakura's hunched form behind it. Not so easy Pinky, thought the Sound Nin with a smirk. She moved her fingers, briefly showing the chakra strings that were attached to them. The Sound Nin then directed at least 50 of the feathers around Sakura's dome and right into her. At that time she caught sight of movement to her left and saw that Sakura had actually left a bushin in her place. Well, she found the wrong time to show herself, smiled the Sound Shinobi. Sakura had indeed left her bushin behind and was now going through a long list of hand seals. I hope this works, since it will drain a lot of my remaining chakra. Unknown to her, but her opponent was also going through a long list of hand seals, also wanting to finish the battle. The two attacks were released at the same time. Fuutan, jet stream, said Sakura. Fuutan, hurricane winds, said the Sound Nin. The attacks collided in midair and were more or less cancelling each other out. However, soon it became apparent that the jet stream jutsu was more powerful as it ripped through the hurricane winds and smashed into the Sound Nin and her owl. The Sound Shinobi was tossed off of her owl and fell to the ground, but since she wasn't that high up she got off with only a broken hand and a slightly limp. Meanwhile her owl had been able to evade the rest of Sakura's attack and very quickly made his way behind the leaf nin. It then swooped down at her with his feathers turned into razors. Sakura had wrongfully assumed that the summoning had just vanished and was too focused on the Sound Nin to notice the owl's attack until it was too late. The feathers dug into Sakura's back and arms. She cried out and tried to fight back with her kunai, but before she could, the owl hit her right across the face with 3 of his feathers. Sakura's vision was becoming blurry as she was suffering from exhaustion. The owl to the side of her disappeared in a cloud of smoke and she assumed that she had managed to KO him. Satisfied with the result, she smiled a little and passed out. Well, she's out, said the purple-haired shinobi. She then looked over at the rest of the people and gasped. Out of her comrades only one was alive, even Kisame was D. Good thing Otokage-sama is still alive. She breathed a sigh of relief at that. She watched as her still-living teammate swung their fallen comrade over his shoulder and walked over to where the Otokage was talking with the Hokage. She slowly limped her way after him. Meanwhile with Naruto and Tsunade. Naruto walked over to Tsunade with a cold look on his face and made a motion with his sword as if he was going to attack her, but at the last second stopped the attack and put the sword back in its sheath. Tsunade tried using this opportunity to attack him using the chakra scalpel. Naruto let the attack hit, but grabbed Tsunade's hand before she could pull it away. "You shouldn't give your hands away like this," he said softly while in his other palm activated an incomplete Rasengan and hit Tsunade in the stomach. She watched the W she had inflicted on him heal up in a matter of seconds. "So are you going to K me now?" she asked. Naruto scoffed and did several hand seals. "Transparency," he muttered. He then reached down and into one of Tsunade's pockets and pulled out a scroll. "I'll be taking this now," he said softly and turned to walk away. "So you got your prize, huh? Going to use it against people that care about you again?" she spat out. Naruto turned back to the Hokage with sad and angry eyes. "I didn't want the scroll, don't you get that?" Naruto yelled at Tsunade, while waving the scroll at her. "I didn't come here for the damn scroll. I came here to make peace between us, me and you." He paused for a second. "I didn't want to make this political, it was supposed to be on a personal basis. And what did you expect for me to just forgive you after everything that you've done?" Tsunade yelled back. "Of course not," replied Naruto softly. "I merely wanted to apologize and to try and do a few nice things to make up for some of the horrible things that I've done." "Really? Make up for hurting or people that cared about you, that worried about you, that were hoping you would escape the darkness and come back to us?" The last part Naruto realized was spoken about herself. Naruto sighed deeply and regretfully. "Like you said, I wasn't able to escape the darkness until it was too late, but I did want to make amends." His tone was giving away to bitterness. "But what do? You throw it back in my face without even looking at it." He paused briefly to gather his thoughts. All of this, he motioned to the destruction that lay around him, shouldn't have happened. "I wanted it to be a happy ending, or as happy as it could be made out to be. I wanted peace between our villages." Noticing the confused look on Tsunade's face, Naruto clarified. "I'm the Otokage," he smiled sadly. "I guess you could say I attained my childhood dream." You are the one in charge of that village." Naruto nodded. "So then it was you that rooted out our spies?" Naruto nodded again. "And I assumed that it was you that gave the order to K them." At that Naruto's face darkened. "Don't assume about me, you know nothing. Konohamaru and Mogi are alive and well." He clenched his fist and began walking away. "Or at least they would have been if you had simply trusted a little and had the courtesy to listen," concluded Naruto darkly. "Trust? I trusted you once and you let me down," countered Tsunade. "I extended my hand in peace, you should have thought about it. If I trusted you enough to stand before you alone, then you should have at least trusted me enough to hear me out," said Naruto in a very calm voice, but it was clear that it was merely a mask for the anger that he was feeling. Naruto walked over to kiss him and paused to look at his bee. He lifted up the body and swung it up on his shoulder. "I'll make sure to send back Konohamaru, in a box," he said coldly. Tsunade visibly flinched. With a flick of his head he motioned for his subordinates to come over to him. Once they were on either side of him, he started doing a list of hand seals, but paused to survey the battlefield once again. Noticing a more or less awake Sasuke and a completely knocked out if not Sakura, Naruto shook his head sadly. "Sasuke, your brother would have been very disappointed," he concluded in a sad tone. He completed his hand seals and instantly 3 tails of black chakra appeared behind him. Naruto took one last look at his former village mates before mumbling, "Demonic, Fox Leap," and disappearing along with his subordinates, in black smoke. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.